Well, lads, Shiv. Thanks very much, Arish, for following the Instagram page and the YouTube page. If you could keep sharing, keep liking, it's really appreciated. Today's lesson, we're focusing on couple is, so we're focusing on more grammar duck work, and I'll also be posting a few questions and stuff like that afterwards as well. So on couple is, so short chor ma generalta de gno, so the firm then a couple is con cursius a end of a rud atá buin, rud knock na harin or log a law. Okay, so buin means permanent, so we're looking at we use a couple is whenever we're describing something that is permanent and doesn't change from day to day. Okay, so for example, I would say is me because I am permanently a teacher. I will always be a teacher. I might change my profession, but at the end of the day, like that's still a title that I could have. So it's something that is permanent that doesn't change from day to day. Úsáidtear an bríothar bí concursius a dhéanamh ar rud seadach, rud a athraíonn nó rud a nach míon mar an gcéine. So the verb be is used to describe something temporary, something that can change, or something that isn't the same always. Okay, so be a make train all gachina, and so on and so forth. So just going back to things that could be permanent and things can be temporary. Okay, so we have Bowen and Shadowduck. So once again, Bowen is permanent, Shadowduck is temporary. So obviously, like something like your Anum, your Inchkana, your Pust, your Átduchis, your Náisiúntacht, and your Parsantacht, they're all permanent things. They're all to do with you. They're all connected to you. So obviously, your Anum, your name, Inchkana is your sex, Pust is your job, okay, or your Slibaha. Átduchis is like where you were born, your home place, your native home. And Náisiúntacht, your nationality, and your Parsantacht is your personality. Okay, so most of these, okay, you're very unlikely to change. Your Átduchis, for example, where you're born is where you were born. Your Inchkana, your Anum, like is Anya, is Colleen May, is Moontor May for your post, or is Doctor May, is Farron Fwisht May, and so on. Átduchis is as Myome, is as Chorkig May, is as Lochgarman May, is Eirnoch May, is Sassanach May, for your Náisiúntacht, and then your person is Dina Foinach May, is Dina Brodúil May, is Dina Ord May, is Dina Hrusta May, and so on. Okay, so these are all permanent aspects that you can look into. Whereas with be or ta, okay, depending on the context, so we use it. Just a little side note is we use tá for something that's happening right now. Okay, if the light is on, tá an solas ar siúl, or tá an solas lasta. Okay, it's on right now, tá an solas lasta. Right? We use be or being for something that happens on a regular occurrence. So, for example, if the light is on every day, being on solas lasta gachlá. So we have to make sure we know that we're using tá for something that is right now in the moment, whereas when we use the verb be, when we're talking about something that happens on a regular occurrence, and that's something you'll see here. So for your ish, we have tá mé 8 mbliana déag díos. Right now, tá mé 8 mbliana déag díos. Okay, so you're not 18 every week. Okay, right in this moment, tá mé 8 mbliana déag díos. If you're 19 tomorrow, beg mé 9 mbliana déag díos. But once tomorrow comes, it's Tome, namely in a day dish. So we've got law, so something that happens every day. So being ag immert pella, got gaminik. So I play football often. Trainálum leis an fearn imaniot gach ina. Okay. Bium ag trainál leis an fearn imaniot gach ina, and so on. Your atconaha conium amalia that can change. Okay. For example, ma átduchas is as kirking me a conium a lock garment. We have that, and then you have your mohukan, okay, your emotions. So it's not your personality, it's your emotions. Okay, so tome gama, tome chrusta, tome nervishok. These are all things that are that can change. Okay, so we're not talking about your personality as like what type of person you're. We're talking about your emotion right now in this moment. So we have the Foirmeacha, so fake and the Foirmeacha show. So we have is dina ma ni coint or ma unceoltóir or ma nach ceoltóir or ma. Okay, so we have is, okay, plus dina ma Ní cointors ma, okay, not a good talker, not a good speaker. Ceoltóir, we have our profession there, on ceoltóir ma, and knock isn't. Okay, so really, really simple. We have those aspects to it. So the old reliable sha. Sha, 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 sha. It's the most commonly used word in the Irish language, I would say, and it's the most misused word in the Irish language. So Cahan is there into sha. When do you say sha? Okay, first of all, anyway, it's is a. Okay, sha is a on button is cotínta a déanamh scoláirí sa bhéiltrial agus nóair a haon siad chuig an ghaeltacht. Okay, it's one of the most common mistakes made from people during the Irish oral exam and also from people that go to the Gaeltacht. Okay, má leanann bríthar an focail an buin úsáid as an ríthair céine sa freagra. Okay, so this is really, really important. Okay, if someone asks you a question in Irish and there's a verb, a breather inside the verb, you need to use the verb to answer that question. Okay, so we have our sample here. On day and two, do you go? Okay, you don't say sha. So on day and two gudi on pictorial, sha, wrong. Okay, on day and two gudi on pictorial, ten or ten two gudi on pictorial, tame gudi on pictorial, or ni haim gudi on pictorial. We do not say sha or ni ha. This is really, really important. Okay, if there is a verb inside the question, we need to use that verb to answer the question. Okay, so on main to ag tréáil gach ina, bíam ag tréáil gach ihe, ní bhíam ag tréáil gach ihe. On siúlan tú a bhaile ó scoil gach lá, siúlam a bhaile ó scoil, ní hiúlam a bhaile ó scoil. These are really important. We do not use sha when there's a verb inside the question. So when do we use sha or niha or isa and niha? Okay, this is really important and something that you should keep in mind, especially for those doing the oral exam and so on. And that is taught in Copail is a gesh mora lanin briher on focal on. Okay, so we use on Copail is, okay, if there is no verb after the word on. Okay, so on doctor e de yad, is doctor e mayad, or isha or niha, sha niha. Okay, so ní úsáidan tú na focail isha nu niha ach bhain má leanann anamokil on focail on. So we only use isha or niha, sha niha, only when anamokil, a noun, comes after the word on. Má leanann adiocht on focail on, buin úsáid as an adiocht sa freagra. If an adjective follows the word on, we need to use an adjective in our answer. Má leanann fur anam an focail on, buin úsáid as an ver anam sa freagra. Má leanann fur anam réamhocail an focail on, buin úsáid as an ver anam réamhochla. Okay, so examples would be, so on, okay, adiocht is an adjective, a fur anam is a pronoun, and so like these are really important that like we need to know. But one of the main things is if we're asking a question and like when should we use sha, when should we use niha, when should we use a copalis, when should we use a briher, this is just really straightforward, and that's basically if it's on plus a briher, we use the briher to answer the question. If it's on plus an animokil in particular, then we can use our copalis, we can use our isha or niha. Okay, so this slide is split into two. So I'm going to just take your attention over to the left first, and just for you to see. So we have a Untitled, okay, and it's really straightforward. And it's like, so obviously we know how to use the copalis in Dom Schlauharach because we're using is, okay, something that happens regularly. But what if we want to use in the past tense, okay? So if that person was a teacher, it's still a permanent thing, okay? But we want to say like that person was a teacher. So kind of copalis usad some tricata, usad to ba plus shevu. So we do not use the word is turns into ba, okay? And then we add a shevu to the word. Okay, so for example, the ba vuntor ma'e. Okay, he was a good teacher, but yes on law it was a nice day. But lumpsa on karshin fado, that was my car a long time ago. But inini lira ma free vida school. Okay, inini lira was my principal in school. Okay, these were all permanent things, but are now in the past. But it doesn't change the fact that they were permanent things. Okay, but Anya an tanam a bhí arhi. Okay, another example. All right, so and then we have is. So we're moving on. Okay, and when do we use on couple is? So here's just some examples, and you will see like a lot of this. So is ma lum, is fair lum, is fulum, is bralum, is evenum, is agal lum, is morlum, is federlum, is dolum, is queenlum, is meanlum. Okay, these are all I'm sure, or these are all couple is words. Okay, and these are things like is ma lum coca. Okay, is fair lum chocolate. Okay, and we're using the couple is format here. Okay, so it's feudum, it's lairdom, it's biogarum, it's doka a. Okay, more examples on the other side. But again, we just see that a couple is can come up in many different ways. So a nice little short video here, or a nice little clip here is I'm Shalahrak and I'm Shalahrak. And so I'm Shalahrak, agus I'm Shalahrak, it's bus A, Capam gur bus A, is át A, Tigam gur át A. Ní bus A, Capam knock bus A, ní át A, Tigam knock át A. On bus A, ní fistum, on bus A, on át A, fifrium, on át A. So again, we just see the little transformations that we had coming across every time. Ní bus A, Capam knock bus A. I don't think it is a bus. Okay. So like again, it's just little small things that we can see transforming from one line to the other. So new order and firm B riv animokil. So tigum gur n a. Okay, so we do not say tigum gurb n a. Okay, tigum gur n a. Riv for anam parsanta in Abertini, anam brihara, ni dolam gur iad a chánach is ceart, riv révokil, ceapam gur ag seán a bhain an tola sin, riv dud brihar, shachas aulig agus dub brihara adiachti. Deram gur aulig a ach deram gur an seo a. So again, we have the gur is our example of couple is that comes throughout all of these answers. Tigam gur n a, ní donam gur iad a chánach, ceapam gur ag seán, aulig a ach deram gur an seo. So again, gur is another example of couple is. Alright, so gur mín má gwibh galéir as bheith géisteach, tá súla an go raibh sé seo 6 cabhraíocht agus tá aon ceisna goibh choirid na comments agus muna bhfuil tú ábhar sin íanamh seoil DM chuam agus beag mé ábhar cabhar in aon slí ina bhfuil mé ábhar. Gur míle má goibh má féic just rud sa bhreis féic san description agus beag ceisna a gom díobh má leathanach YouTube. Go raibh míle má goibh san go fóill.